One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free, so let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Whistlers report and paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Man, oh man. It has been a wild 24 hours. Great to see everybody in the chat, by the way. Great to see everybody. Let's go. Whip them out Wednesday, man. Nothing better. And nothing less, right? So listen, we've got an interesting morning here today. We're going to be talking a little bit about Trump's State of the Union highlights. We're going to be talking about that actually kind of towards the end of the show a little bit, maybe 3/4 of the way in. And then we have U.S.-Iran talks. Of course, that's all actually happening tomorrow, so we're going to be reporting on that as well. And we have a little bit of an update regarding, believe it or not, Charlie Kirk. This is something that just came out yesterday. And Charlie Kirk murder, judge denies defense request to disqualify prosecutors in Tyler Robinson's case. So totally just wild shit that's happening. Not just the whole thing with the Trump State of the Union, but because that's what is just taking over all of media right now. They can't stop talking about really anything else. It was actually really hard to find anything else. But nonetheless, I have some stuff. We have also new details emerge in killing of El Mencho. This is what it says. President Trump's total elimination, quote unquote, paved the way for the fall of cartel kingpin Ruben El Mencho. According to Fox News, Mexican forces seized rocket launchers capable of shooting down aircraft during the operation that killed El Mencho. Holy shit. And then there was something totally wild that happened yesterday as well, is there was an Ozark shooting. 2 Missouri sheriff's deputies dead, are killed, and the suspect themselves are dead as well. So it looks like 3 people are in totality dead from that. Of course, we have the key moments from Trump's 2026 State of the Union. We have that, and believe it or not, we're going to be playing that from PBS. And then we have impact from the killing of cartel leader El Mencho. This came out 2 hours ago, so it's like we actually kind of have a little bit of a context of hopefully we can get some more details out of these things. Then we have Iran calls out Trump after State of the Union, nuclear obliteration comments. This is just came out an hour ago. It says Iran is firing back at President Trump after he made comments about Iran's nuclear program being completely obliterated during Tuesday night's State of the Union address. Says Javed Ali with the University of Michigan weighs in. Now, I don't know who Javid is or whatever, but we'll find out. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, great to see everyone in the chat, man. Before we go ahead and get into it, let me go ahead and do our call to actions, and then we'll get right into this. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. Double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side, and hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, and then we have members only for Saturday morning. It's a great time. Speaking of membership, please consider becoming a member starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as, have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here. Let me go ahead and get this counterclock thing, whatever, off. There we go. Follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, the campaign trail. We do all of it, man. So I very much appreciate you guys following me over there as well. We have the Discord server for all of you legends, by the way, in the description down below. We have 95% of you guys, I would say, in there, but we need to have that full 100%. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted membership, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to at any time. And, of course, interject with your voice, and I'll read out whatever you guys send on the email. I have it right up. So if anything comes through, of course, I'll read whatever you guys send in. So, all right. Much love and honor and respect to everybody. Looks like we got all the homies in here. We got Warlin as well as Naomi. Good morning to you guys. We got Steve Easy as well as Carney, my man. And thank you for the raid from you as well, Carney. I very much appreciate that. And Motobomb, thank you for the raid. The Coffee Crew, you guys are legends. I very much appreciate the support. We got Gary as well, my man. Good morning. And we got Seymour Cannabis as well as CGCG. Great to see you in the chat. We got Hardwire as well. Good morning, good morning. We got Pops in here. 3-hour drive to hospital to see Mountain Woman. Man, make sure you drive safe, and please, when you can, please give us an update on her. We're praying for her. And we got Naomi, we got Tree Life. Let's see, we got Rapid of Chaos. Good morning to you guys. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get right into the new details that were emerging in the killing of El Mencho.
Right now, I do want to get to the latest on the ongoing violence over in Mexico. Here's a look at just some of the video showing it all play out over the last several days. I believe this is from yesterday. The U.S. State Department urging Americans who are in Mexico to shelter in place in areas where the violence...
We got Josh Phillips on the Facebook side, my man. Good morning to you. Great to see you. And I'm sorry I missed this. Brother Steve Easy says, congratulations, Brother Mike, on the major accomplishment yesterday. Very happy for you and proud to call you my brother. Wow, man, I'm very honored as well, bro. Actually, real quick before we go ahead and play this whole thing, I might as well just do this little part real quick because I can. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and I'm going to show you guys this. Okay, so I'm going to read this real quick. For if you guys are a little bit out of the loop of my personal and political life right now, I went and spoke at the State House yesterday. That's why we were not live yesterday, by the way. So, oh, wow. Hold on real quick. We got Sterling Will coming in with the 5 gifted memberships. Let's go, bro. Making the shit rain in here, cuh. I very much appreciate that, bro. All right, so let me go ahead and read this real quick. And actually, I'll leave that up. There we go. Okay, so earlier today, which is yesterday, obviously, I wrote this yesterday, I spoke at the Alabama State House and told the truth, not as a politician, but as someone who lived it. I was an invited guest of the Alabama Cannabis Coalition, standing in for our endorsed candidate, J.R. Bowling. When I was 25, a drunk driver hit me at nearly 80 miles per hour and took my leg. I survived by the grace of God, rebuilt my life, and refused to let tragedy control my future. But recovery exposed another harsh reality, a system that too often pushes people towards dependency instead of real solutions. I watched firsthand how the quote-unquote approved path too often means heavy prescriptions, endless bureaucracy, and politicians deciding what's best for your body. Medical cannabis gave me a quality of life pharmaceuticals never could, and I refuse to stay silent while government drags its feet and picks winners and losers. Let's be clear. This is not a partisan issue. This is about freedom, accountability, and whether government serves the people or controls them. For years, our district has been told to wait, to accept the status quo, to trust the insiders. People are tired of it, and they should be. Jared Bowling is running because District 4 deserves a fighter, not another career politician, not another rubber stamp, and not another voice for the establishment. He believes what I believe. Government should trust its citizens. Patience should come before politics, and leadership should answer to the people, not to the system. If you're tired of the excuses, tired of backroom politics, and ready for leadership that actually listens, now is the moment. May 19th, vote J.R. Bowling for Alabama State Senate District 4, because freedom isn't something we talk about, it's something we defend. God bless Alabama. So it was a very eventful day yesterday. Now, the one thing that I will say that sucks about this whole thing, by the way, is it's very far to get there, by the way. It's super far. And Sterling says, brilliant speech, MB. I very much appreciate that. I didn't post my actual speech that I gave. That wasn't my speech. I just kind of recapped what my speech was, because my speech that I did yesterday was way longer than what I just read. Way longer. I actually put it in the Discord for all the I didn't put it on Instagram, Facebook, or any of that social media stuff. I only put it in the Discord. So if you guys are interested in the full speech, it's in the Discord. But thank you, Sterling Will, for another 420, bro. That's a phenomenal number, by the way. All right, so enough of this. So thank you guys for listening to that, little side note here. Let's get back to the show. Here we go.
Once erupted. Now, the violence comes in the wake of the capture and killing of notorious cartel leader El Mencho. We are also learning from the Associated Press that it was surveillance of a romantic
Tiffany, good morning.
that helped the Mexican armed forces track him down. Both Mexico and the U.S. spent years tracking El Mencho, with military investigators finally identifying and following a trusted associate of the cartel leader. Now, there is a lot to explain about what all of this means, what happened afterward, and what the future holds. I do want to bring in Connor Pfeiffer, Senior Director of Government Relations for FDD Action. Thank you so much.
Real quick, before he brings him or her on, we got Carrie in the building, by the way, saying great work, Mike. I very much appreciate that.
For taking the time to be here with us today.
Hit the like button, everybody.
Of course. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, well, first off, I wanted to ask you if you could kind of overall break down the situation that's taking place on the ground there in Mexico, because there are so many different nuances to all of this.
Of course, Josh, it's great to be with you. So the reason you're seeing widespread violence right now in different parts of Mexico after El Mencho's killing is because the Jalisco cartel, which El Mencho led and is the most powerful cartel in Mexico, is taking out retaliation in response to El Mencho's killing. And so in areas of Mexico...
What's up, Joseph, by the way, up there in Canada, our favorite snow Mexican. We also have Wicked Wally. Shout out to my man. And yes, Pop says, must drive now, love and respect from our family. Absolutely. Make sure you drive safe. We'll see you on the flip side. And definitely let Mountain Woman know that we all love her,
Mexico, where the Jalisco cartel has significant control. Think Jalisco and other areas in kind of central Mexico, for instance. That's where you're seeing the most violence. It's unclear how long the violence will take place. You've got a leadership succession to be determined for the cartel, and as well the Mexican armed forces are beefing up security and trying to prevent additional blockades of highways, burning of cars, and some of the other violence we've seen. But this is kind of an expected reaction. In the past, when key narco leaders like El Chapo were captured, you've seen this similar reaction from other cartels. But what I want to underscore for your viewers is this is a massive victory for the United States and Mexico, killing El Mencho. Again, he led the most powerful cartel in Mexico. He has American blood on his hands. His cartel has trafficked fentanyl that has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans in overdose deaths in the past decade. And so this is a good day for the United States, but at the same time, we have to be cognizant of the violence that could follow because of how it's destabilized the cartel.
Bill Castle knows what's up. He's got his coffee and his left-handed tobacco as well.
It's also important to note that our different affiliates across the country here have talked to
take care as
several
well,
of
Shaggy.
their local citizens who are trapped, so to speak, there in Mexico watching all of this unfold. How safe is it for Americans right now who are in Mexico?
Shit is not safe. How safe is it for Americans in Mexico right now? I can tell you, extremely unsafe. Real quick, we got Sterling Will coming in with the $2, by the way. We need a vote. Can MB tie a tie? So let me go ahead. You want me to actually make a poll? I guess I can do that. I can set that up for you guys.
Is it safe in any way?
I can't do the same way that you did this morning. I have to do it.
Josh, I think
in the
for
chat.
people who are currently in Mexico or considering travel to Mexico, they should consult the State Department, which has been putting out regular updates, not only for the whole country, but also for specific areas of Mexico, specific cities, specific states, and that the State Department can provide the best information as to the current status of those areas. I think overall, though, the violence has been restricted to certain areas, and so it's not like every city in the country is seeing this kind of violence, if that makes sense.
As we kind of watch all of this continue to play out here, what are we hearing from Mexican leaders? How are they responding to the security, economic pressures, all of that?
So President Sheinbaum and her security minister, Omar Harfuch, and as well as the head of the military yesterday gave additional details on the operation and said it's the Mexican government's priority to bring security back under control and do their best to stop further violence in the aftermath of the killing. One thing that's going to be important in the coming days is for the Trump administration to continue to work with the Mexican government to take advantage of this opportunity. Right now, the Jalisco cartel is scattered and is in significant chaos. And one thing I think it's important for your viewers to know as well is the other major cartel in Mexico, the Sinaloa cartel, which is what El Chapo led before he was captured. They're in the middle of a civil war right now because of the capture of El Mayo in 2024. And so right now, both major...
Okay, by the way, I just go ahead and set up the poll on both sides. So you guys go ahead and vote in the chat. Do you think Mike can tie his own tie? Go ahead and answer that. All right. We don't need much more of this, by the way. There's not much details I'm really hearing from this. The only thing that the update really is Mexican forces seized rocket launchers capable of shooting down aircraft during the operation that killed El Mencho. But that's really it. There's nothing else from that. So let's go ahead and move on into the update we have on Charlie Kirk's shooter and killer, assassin, I should say. Judge denies defense request to disqualify prosecutors in Tyler Robinson's case. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Here we go.
And we were just listening in live there to this virtual hearing where we're bringing you this breaking news that the presiding judge in the case against Tyler Robinson, accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk last September, just dismissed the defense's push to remove prosecutors. Judge Tony Graff issued an oral ruling on whether county prosecutors should be disqualified, which could have changed the course of this trial significantly. Robinson's defense team had asserted that the state had a conflict of interest since one of the prosecutor's children was present at the September 10th event at Utah Valley University where Kirk was killed. In just a moment here, we're going to be bringing in Jeremy Rosenthal, attorney in front of the show. But we did want to ask you at home, what questions do you have about the Tyler Robinson ruling? You can scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen or head to livenowfox.com/connect. Let's get those questions answered for you here during this live interview. I'll be popping this up in just a matter of moments, but for right now, let's bring in Jeremy Rosenthal. Thank you so much for taking the time, Jeremy. I know you've been on standby with us here waiting as well, so we appreciate it.
Now, this guy is notorious for his insane glasses that he wears every time. I mean, they're different all the time, too. But anyways, I got a question for homie.
Why are you gay?
Just asking. And but this guy, by the way, he is a trial attorney, and he does comment on a lot of these different trials. And he's a reoccurring guest on Fox Now Live or whatever.
You.
Live Now.
Happy to do it, and it's just like waiting for any other court hearing in my life. This is how they go.
What's up, Tootie?
Yep,
good morning.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about what we did hear there from the judge. I know I had asked you off camera. Did anything really stand out to you?
A really long, well-reasoned opinion by the judge. I think this was a long shot by the defense, but something that was probably worth it.
Steve Posey, that is true.
You're always trying in a death case to create as much value as you can to try to avoid the death penalty, and you do that any way that you can. And here, what they're saying was, look, this prosecutor had a personal grudge because their child was at the event, was at the event where Charlie Kirk was killed. And what you heard the judge doing was reading one.
Definitely let Brother Lee know that hopefully he's having a wonderful Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
One opinion after another, basically saying, look, here's where a prosecutor is a little too close to the fire, and this case just is different. And some of the opinions at the
man, I'm such a fucking asshole. I'm super sorry, guys. I apologize. I'm gonna have to embrace my fuck ups immediately after this. So Code sends in a Cash App. I'm super sorry, you guys. I'm late to the fucking game as per usual. I got to work on that. He goes, "This is to help the channel. Appreciate you, brother. Be back soon." And he sends in a 5-spot. Man, I very much appreciate you, bro. Thank you for that. And then we also have Tiffany and Lee coming in on the Venmo side and sends in $3 saying dues for Lee and I. Congrats on the great speech yesterday. Wow, I really appreciate that. Thank you. We knocked it out. We killed it. You know what I mean? We really did. And so I mean, what was cool about it is my whole little speech there. It garnished erupting applause. So it was received well, and by the panel, and by it went well. So
judge was reading was, look, okay, well, in this instance, back in whatever 2017, there was a case where maybe a prosecutor had been financially tied up with the defendant, and the defendant said, now we need to get a new prosecutor. And in one instance, the judge said that the prosecutor was actually a victim of a certain defendant's crime. And in that case, the defendant saying, look, this guy is extra out to get me, and that's not fair. And that was the right call then. But the judge is saying, look, that's distinguishable here. That's distinguishable from this case, because if the prosecutor in this case has a grudge, I can't see it. And not only that, it's just a little too what you would call attenuated. Really, anytime you're attacking the prosecution based on essentially an ethical issue, which is what this is, right? It would be a conflict of interest, saying that we are emotionally conflicted.
So I really don't understand what the motion to disqualify this whole thing, the prosecutor, why for? Maybe I missed it. I mean, maybe he's just too smart for me. I don't know. I didn't hear it though.
Anytime you're attacking a prosecutor based on ethics, the main question...
They're going after him on an ethics complaint?
The judge has to answer is, okay, fine. If you think the prosecutor's doing something incorrectly, how does it hurt you as the defense, right? A prosecutor has a duty to avoid the appearance of impropriety. But how does that affect you as the defense, right? That's not enough. You've got to show me where your due process rights, Mr. Robinson, are affected by this prosecutor. And the defense tried. They created an issue. It'll be an issue on appeal if he's ultimately sentenced to death or just a life sentence. They were specifically complaining about the death penalty. So,
oh man, I'll definitely be praying, man.
If he doesn't get the death penalty in this case, then I think the point would be moot. But again, this was a very worthwhile motion for the defense to bring. It just didn't work.
Well, and I want to continue that conversation there, because what are the options now for the defense, and how is this going to impact the strategy going forward?
Well, you were trying to get a different prosecutor on there, and you were
well, when you do that, now you just reset the whole fucking thing.
Trying to sort of attach the decision to seek the death penalty to this prosecutor, and you were trying to sort of eliminate that. So it didn't work, and now the case is just going to sort of proceed as normal, and this could be an issue on appeal, meaning if
I would assume
there's a conviction in this case, they're going to come back and say, well, of the
right, exactly
48 things that this judge did wrong, this was one of them. And that's why you also saw the judge read out a very deliberate, very lengthy statement We citing the legal research, citing his opinion, because he knows that this is going to get reviewed on appeal very likely.
And Jeremy, we do have our viewers who are writing in questions. We do thank them. And as we typically do with you here, we do want to get some of them answered. So let's put this up here. And this comes from Christina saying, when will Tyler get sentenced?
Well, they got to find him guilty first.
Right.
So he's going to have a trial. And you heard some of the scheduling today. One of the things that America got to enjoy there is what court is really like, and that is all the things that you see on TV are just a fraction of the excitement, right?
Real quick, hold on. We got to do a nice little halt. We got my man Hardwire coming in on the Cash App as well, sending in $4.20. We love that number, by the way. Says, appreciate your friendship and 420 Appreciation Day. Wow, man, I very much appreciate you, bro. That's awesome. Sending it out. I very much appreciate you guys, man.
Really what you're doing is getting everybody to go through their calendars, and then the lawyers are telling you about how they're available, how they're not available. As a lawyer, it's always important to let the judge and everybody else know how busy you are and how big time you are. So, you got lawyers. Well, I got to be in Chicago. Well, I got to go do this and that. And I'm sure all that.
Real quick, we've got my man Hollywood in the chat. He says, hey, Mike, Lavish drowning over there on BD channel. He isn't easy. He's finding out. Oh, to run a show. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I totally understand the whole. This is not an easy job, man. This is not easy.
It's true. But it can be pretty mundane. There's a lot of stuff to filter through here. There's a lot of motions that they have to filter through here. One of them the one that they were talking about at the end there was that there's the defense wants the media's access to be limited, and you actually saw a lawyer for the media talking about his schedule. So it's going to be a minute till this thing gets to trial. I doubt very highly. I don't know that will be in 2026.
Okay, so he's projecting it's looking like it's going to probably go into 2027. Anyways, we're going to move on into our next story here that we had an unfortunate ordeal happen. Says Ozark shooting, 2 Missouri sheriff's deputies were killed and the suspect is dead too. So that means 3 people ultimately are dead from this. So let's go ahead and bring this up. This happened yesterday. And then we're going to be talking about, after this, we're going to be talking about the key moments from Trump's 2026 State of the Union. So
go to some breaking news that we have been monitoring for you out of Ozark, Missouri. We are learning the death of 2 Missouri deputies.
I appreciate you, Bill.
We are going to be listening in right now to the latest update for you right here on Live Now from Fox.
County Sheriff. As you can see, I have many representatives of law enforcement from around the area and the state, as well as some of our federal partners here with me today. Today is a sad day for law enforcement in our community in Southwest Missouri.
I just sped him up a little bit because he was already starting off a little slow. So
across the state of Missouri, I want to express my sincere gratitude for everybody that's reached out to our agency and provided words of comfort, food, whatever it might be to help us through this situation. As you might know, this has been a very trying 24 hours. And I'm going to go through the timeline of yesterday and how this started. And then I will take a few questions, as well as some of my other law enforcement partners will take questions as well. So yesterday, February 23rd at 3:53 p.m., Christian County 911 received a call about a deputy down in the roadway near the intersection of Highway 160 and Glossop Avenue in Highlandville. At 4:05 p.m., responding deputies arrived and found Deputy Gabriel Ramirez fatally shot laying in the roadway. At 4:09 p.m., a possible suspect vehicle was identified, and at 4:13 p.m., the Missouri State Highway Patrol with Stone County deputies and multiple other agencies responded to an address off of Y Highway in the Galena area. At 4:35 p.m.,
I think that's a microphone that just dropped.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol issued a blue alert, and an intense manhunt was launched for the suspect, who we identified as Richard Bird, age 45, of Stone County. At that time, investigators released a booking photo taken from a previous arrest on February 16th of this year from the Stone County Jail and released that. After further investigation, the suspect's vehicle was located in an area off of Highway 248 and 160 near the Reed Springs area. Multiple deputies and agencies responded at that time to the area, and a manhunt ensued and lasted approximately 9 hours. At 11:30 p.m. last night, the sighting of the suspect reported in a wooded area near the 2500 block.
Shit, real quick before he reports on that block, right? Real quick, we got my man Al coming in, Al Patterson, saying for $5, how was the Capitol, bro? Man, I actually reviewed the whole thing on here. I actually told everybody a little bit about it in the beginning before we started like showing everything on, you know, doing stories. So, but yeah, man, it was a great freaking time, man. We definitely slayed it. So thank you for the 5 spot, bro. I very much appreciate that. Good morning.
Multiple agencies responded to that area, along with the Missouri State Highway Patrol aircraft unit. At 11:38 p.m., law enforcement started taking gunfire from the suspect in the wooded area. At that time, Deputy Josh Wall, sustained a debilitating gunshot wound to the leg. Also at that time, Webster County Deputy Austin McCall.
It's not that weird. We've got a cop here that's wearing a wild freaking hat, and then people are going to, of course, react to what's on my show. So it's not that weird. People are talking about it.
Sustained 4 gunshot wounds. Responding law enforcement
That'd be me,
did not reach
Susan.
the injured deputies at that time due to continued gunfire from the suspect. After taking multiple rounds of gunfire from the suspect, law enforcement was eventually able to rescue the injured deputies. During that time, Christian County Deputy Michael Highslope suffered a fatal gunshot wound while he was attempting to reach and rescue the downed deputies.
Damn.
Deputies Wall and McCall were both transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Lone Bolt.
Time law enforcement
Good morning, by
utilized
the way.
an armored vehicle to approach the suspect who continued to fire upon law enforcement. At that time, multiple law enforcement officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect and ultimately eliminated the threat. At that time, the Sheriff's Critical Incident Team responded and is currently still...
Good morning, Dylan. Great to see you in the chat, my man.
...investigating that crime scene. Deputies Wall and McCall are recovering from surgery, and they're both in stable condition at the hospital right now. I want to thank all the responding agencies from this incident. As you will hear, there are multiple agencies from across Southwest Missouri in the state. Christian County Sheriff's Office, the Ava Police Department, the Ozark Police Department, the Nixa Police Department, Reed Spring Police Department, the Missouri State Highway Patrol, the Greene County Sheriff's Office, Stone County Sheriff's Office, Douglas County Sheriff's Office, the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office, the Webster County Sheriff's Office, the Taney County Sheriff's Office, the U.S. Marshal Service, the ATF, the FBI, and the Missouri State Park Rangers, as well as the Missouri Department of Conservation. At this time, I will take questions as well as...
And we're only going to take a couple of questions, by the way. We're not going to listen to this whole briefing. We don't need to do that.
My partners.
We got the info.
What happened to make the deputy pull over Bird?
We're not clear on what the initial traffic stop was for. During a traffic stop, deputies and
that would be me, brain.
officers normally don't report what they're stopping them for, so we don't know at this time what that stop was for.
Several
SST, good morning.
From sheriff's offices across Southwest Missouri have been calling out the fact that this suspect had a lengthy rap sheet and could have been locked away at multiple infractions and charges. Do you maintain some of your colleagues' opinions that this person should have been locked away years ago?
Well, I've had a lot going on in the last 24 hours. I've not had a chance to review his criminal history. I understand he has many and multiple arrests, some being as recent as a couple weeks ago and last week. But I can't really comment on his criminal history because I've not had a chance to look at that yet. But I do know.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you should probably look into. Real quick, Steve Easy says, smash that like and subscribe. Yes, absolutely. Make sure you guys double tap the screen if you guys are on the vertical side. You guys don't have to like all the craziness that's happening around the world and our nation as well. But you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you guys. All right, we're going to move on from this, though. And we're going to get into the key moments here of Trump's 2026 State of the Union. Here we go.
My fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before, and our enemies are scared.
It's Whip 'em Out Wednesday, or, you know what I mean, or Hump Day.
Military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
What's up, Maryland? Good morning.
In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. As I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. You're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Man, he's hyped up. Motherfucker hyped. Wow, that is awesome, by the way, Naomi. Definitely let her know happy birthday. That is awesome.
They beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House. That I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful, country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're
What's up, Wild Card? Good morning to you. Great to see you.
In. Peace protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Now, the same people in...
Real quick, before he goes into that, Naomi's making a demand here. Well, she is.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
It's facts, though. That is facts.
Denied.
But it's okay. I still love you guys.
This chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem. They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
Oh, wow, look, they zoomed in on her.
As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
That's right, Nancy Pelosi, motherfucker.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the...
Here we go, by the way. This is a telling moment, truly.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Wow.
You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
What's up, TNT? Oh, man, good morning.
The golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
What's up, Lappy? Good morning. All right, so that was that wrap up just for key moments, right? Anyways, we do have some information coming out just this morning, 2 hours ago. Impact from the killing of cartel leader El Mencho. They have a bit on this that they just released, so we're going to go ahead and present that. That's what we do here.
Thanks for staying with us here at Live Now from Fox. I want to turn our attention now to a story that we are continuing to follow very closely. Chaos erupting in parts of Mexico after the killing of a prominent cartel leader. You do see him here on your screen. His name, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, was the leader for the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. He was killed on Sunday in a capture attempt by the military. The operation and waves of violence killed 70 people, according to the Associated Press. Now, the death of El Mencho came as Mexico's government has stepped up its offensive against cartels in an effort to meet demands by President Trump to crack down on criminal groups. The cartel, also known as CJNG, is one of the fastest growing criminal networks in Mexico. I do want to dive into this story and just talk about really the situation now as a whole. To do that, bringing now into the conversation is Will Freeman. He is with the Council for Foreign Relations. Will, good morning. Good to have you on here.
Good morning.
I do want to start with this, though. Can you explain this?
Man, you're going to be on national television, homie. Why don't you like, do your hair or some shit? It looks like you just got out of bed in the hotel.
Significance of El Mencho and just the grip that cartel had in parts of Mexico, and how all of this destruction
What's up, Bob? Good morning.
Just represents, again, that grip and the attention that they captured from authorities.
Over the last decade, El Mencho, as leader of the CJNG cartel, had expanded that cartel into Mexico's largest. It had overtaken its longtime rival and probably a more familiar name to viewers, the Sinaloa cartel, to actually become the single biggest criminal organization in Mexico, with a presence in over 20 states and over a dozen foreign countries. And I think what was particularly notable about CJNG was two things. I mean, one, it has always been fairly willing to attack state authorities. It's been quite aggressive in that sense. And two, it managed to insert itself with governors and state prosecutors and really achieve that expansion across Mexico through intertwining.
What's up, Al? Great to see you in the chat, by the way, and thank you for the donation earlier, my man.
Itself with the structures of local government. So that partly explains why it was able to generate this quite spectacular display of force across the country, not just in its home turf of Jalisco state, but all across Mexico yesterday. Now, all that said, I do think it's worth noting that today in Mexico, things are back to normal, quote unquote. That is, the roadblocks have cleared. There don't seem to be any more significant clashes. This was a display of force.
Well, and that does happen notoriously with, the cartel. Usually they'll be like, oh, it's going to war forever kind of thing, like no, it kind of dies off within a couple few days. It's just a very strong brute force in the very beginning,
Of course, but it was a calculated one aimed, I think, to avoid further escalation. Because as powerful as these cartels are, they really aren't, they don't have any kind of military force compared to the 400, 500,000 person standing Mexican army. They know that if they really invite retaliation with the full force of that army, they won't win the fight. So it was a strike. It was a blow meant to show, don't take any more of our top leaders. And taking a leader like I mentioned was significant. But I think we also need to put this in context. What's really significant here is the strength the organization retains, not just whether one leader persists or not.
So some of this footage that I'm showing here on the screen is from the immediate aftermath of the killing of El Mencho.
Because truly these cartel families, I mean, they have a lot to lose too. They don't necessarily want to push the limit to where now they're going to be absolutely targeted by their own government.
So you saw a lot of fires there across the city, just a lot of blockades. But as you mentioned, a lot of that has been cleared today. Let's talk about the leadership. A crisis, or would you even call it a crisis now, Will, when we talk about taking out El Mencho as the leader of the most powerful cartel here in Mexico? What kind of impact could that have in terms of leadership change, and how are citizens going to be feeling that?
It's still difficult to say to what extent this will cause a crisis within the cartel. We really see cartel leaders go down one of two ways. One is that they're betrayed from within. So their own organizations splinter into factions among rivals and someone gives them up. That's what we've seen with the Sinaloa cartel, which is currently in a state of disintegration. Its home turf, Sinaloa, is basically in a civil war between different wings of that cartel. That gets very messy very fast. What we saw here with CJNG, though, was something different. It was the army moving in, the cartel trying to defend the leader, but ultimately him being taken down. And that makes me think that there wasn't such a split in the upper ranks of CJNG, that they did stand by El Mencho till the end. And that makes me also think that there's probably a plan for succession currently underway. One likely successor is El Mencho's U.S.-born stepson, Juan Carlos Valencia. So it's very possible that in the next few days we see a clear signal that he has stepped up.
I truly wonder how many people died from this whole act of strength that the cartel was displaying, right? I wonder how many people actually died from this.
Up to take leadership of the cartel. This is also, I should note, a fairly vertical organization. Again, we didn't see major signs of kind of horizontal splits among its top leaders. So I do think.
Dude, can you even call bedhead a hairstyle?
I think that there will probably be unity here. That's not to say that in some regions it controls, other smaller criminal groups won't see this as an opportunity to potentially assert themselves, try to gain back territory or routes over drugs, fuel, other illicit goods. It's possible that there's messiness on the edges, but I don't see a Sinaloa-like situation playing out in Jalisco.
Last night, President Trump held his State of the Union address for 2026. He mentioned briefly the situation happening in Mexico, including the killing of El Mencho, and how the U.S. is really pushing the Mexican government to stop the flow of fentanyl, for example, and to stop the growth of these terrorist organizations, which is what President Trump calls them. I want to play a little bit of the soundbite for all of us next. So, Will, if you could just hang tight.
Restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference for years. Large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
That was President Trump at his State of the Union address just last night. Again, I wanted to play it a little snippet because he did mention the situation happening in Mexico. But with this, well, it leads me to my next question. When it comes to international cooperation, particularly with the United States, what role did the U.S. play in tracking and ultimately killing El Mencho, and how might that cooperation evolve?
Man, rabbit of chaos. That sounds bomb as fuck.
Going forward.
Reportedly, the U.S. had provided intelligence that helped the Army carry out this maneuver, and I think the big context here is a real increase in U.S.-Mexico cooperation under President Trump and President Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico. We'd seen that cooperation hit a historic low point under the past two presidents. Sheinbaum's mentor and the builder of her political movement, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, AMLO, had almost cut things off completely at certain points in time. The Biden administration had really struggled to get that relationship back on track. But of course, Trump came in with this unprecedented pressure of the tariffs. And I think that combined with Sheinbaum's disposition, which is more technical, more pragmatic, it's led to a moment in which I'd say the countries are cooperating as well as they've cooperated in the last 25 years. Now, all that is good news, but I want to point out something, which is that it's great to cooperate against drug kingpins and leaders of criminal organizations. They should absolutely feel pressure, and if they don't, this problem only gets worse. But
real quick, we got my man Jimmy Mack in the building. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Whip 'em Out Wednesday morning. And Naomi says, hit that like. Yes, we've got 100 people in here. Make sure you guys double tap the screen if you guys are on the vertical side, and hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. Very much appreciate you guys.
You also need to be certain that the targets include the money launderers, the politicians who are associated with these structures, the judges and prosecutors who are releasing some of these same kingpins from jail as soon as they're put there. And you need to be targeting the structures that distribute and sell drugs on U.S. streets. And that's where I'm much more worried. One, because Claudia Sheinbaum, for her own domestic political reasons, she doesn't want to go after those structures. In fact, her own political party, which is very strong, very dominant right now, it includes over 5 or 6 governors who have extremely serious allegations, in some cases with pretty damning evidence of their own cartel ties. She doesn't move against them time and time again as much as Trump pushes her. And then on our side, you've seen drug arrests hit a 25-year low in this country as President Trump has shifted much of our domestic law enforcement infrastructure to actually focus on, in many cases, nonviolent immigration offenders. So here, unfortunately, just because of scarce resources, you're seeing a real decrease in what we're doing to dismantle the drug distribution networks on our side. So I think when you put that all together, it is significant to take out these leaders, and I don't want to play that down. But at the same time, if you're not seeing those other parts of the puzzle attacked and taken into account, it's hard for me to see how this binational infrastructure, these criminal groups that really do span both countries, how they become weaker in the long run.
Right. Cutting off the head doesn't necessarily mean like now the organization's done. That's not how that works. So the organization continues forward, always will. All right, so we're gonna move on from this though, and we're gonna wrap up here with this story. Iran calls out Trump after State of the Union nuclear obliteration comments. It says Iran is firing back at President Trump after he made comments about Iran's nuclear program being completely obliterated during Tuesday night's State of the Union address. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and let's go ahead and see what is being discussed here, because this just came out an hour ago.
Right now, I do want to pop up this live look over the White House at this hour as President Trump delivered the longest State of the Union address in history last night. That speech lasting about an hour and 48 minutes. Trump warned it would be a lengthy one, as there was a lot to discuss in his first official State of the Union of his second term in office. Now, the focal point was the economy and affordability, but the topic of Iran and a nuclear deal also having comments as well.
As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program.
I'm sorry, but I truly don't believe that Iran's going to build any type of missile that can reach us. I think that's a shot in the dark there. I don't know. That's you're definitely exaggerating, I think.
In particular, nuclear weapons, yet they continue starting it all over. We wiped it out and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon.
So this morning, Iran is actually pushing back against President Trump's remarks ahead of tomorrow's talks between the U.S. and Iran, once again happening in Geneva. Two Iranian officials calling those remarks, quote, big lies, but also explaining negotiations could lead to an agreement only through, quote, honorable diplomacy. Those comments as the Pentagon builds up its largest force of American warships and aircraft in the Middle East in decades, and that includes 2 aircraft carrier strike groups. President Trump has continuously warned of potential military action against Iran if talks over its nuclear program fall apart.
And
right
that's
now,
going to be
in Javed Ali.
That's going to be happening tomorrow, by the way. This is their third meeting together, and the demands are super unrealistic. So it puts Iran in a bad position, and now it puts us in a bad position because of fucking Israel.
Associate Professor of Practice at the University of Michigan's Gerald R. Ford School of Public Policy. He's also worked with the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Department of Homeland Security, and the FBI. Thank you so much, Javed Ali, for being here with us, as always.
Josh, always nice to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And first off, I want to start by talking overall about what we can expect tomorrow, because we know that those talks are taking place, and this is going to be that third round expected to once again be indirect talks. So when you look at that overall and you think about Geneva being the spot once again, what does that all kind of say?
So, Josh, here we are now about a month, roughly a month into this latest round of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran, as you mentioned.
I got a question for this guy.
Why are you gay?
Just asking.
We've had 2 other meetings, the first one in Oman, and you and I talked about that. Then going back about a week, the second meeting in Geneva, we also talked about that then. And tomorrow we're going to have now the third round of meetings in Geneva. The mechanics of these discussions, as we've also talked about in the past, are a little unusual, where both sides aren't actually sitting at the table together. One side comes in, the Omani foreign minister sort of serves as the intermediary, and then the other side comes in, and that Omani foreign minister then passes the discussions from the side that was in the room before. So that's how it's going to play out, I think, tomorrow. But even from the clip that you showed from President Trump.
So, because I was waiting to hear the remarks from, like, some Iranian official. Really haven't heard that yet. But it says down here, Iran fires back, calls Trump's remarks, quote, Big lies.
Remarks at the State of the Union last night, he's leaving open the possibility of diplomacy to get to a deal. But as we all know, there is this significant U.S. military buildup in the region. And so it seems like the White House is still on this dual track approach of putting pressure on Iran, demonstrably showing the significant U.S. buildup that's now encircling Iran, at least from the air and naval resources, but still having these diplomatic talks. And which of these two tracks will there actually be results? That's the thing that nobody knows the answer to.
We also know that we heard from President Trump as he was speaking, and he's mentioned this several times, but that he has so many options there. We're talking limited strikes, a broader campaign. Can you kind of explain our understanding of really what the difference is there between the two?
So with the significant amount of U.S. military resources in the region, 2 carrier battle groups, and in addition to those, and there's about 200 planes roughly split between both carriers, there's probably several hundred other planes already in the region.
And by the way, I'm just going to allow him to finish what his point is here. And then I'm going to see if they actually get to like some sort of tweet or something, or I want to hear the remarks from Iran. I want to see them. But unfortunately, they're just going to sit here and fucking discuss. Oh, we actually do have something. Oh, no, that's from Department of State. Yeah, I don't know. That's fucking lame.
At the different air bases in Jordan, in Turkey, in Qatar, in the Al Udeid Air Base, which is the big
Qatar, homie. We've always said it that way. I know that it's also, some people say, they argue it. No, you can say it both ways. I don't know, man. Qatar.
U.S. base in the region, and on and on. So there's a significant amount of resources, and then the ships that have their firepower as well, with Tomahawks and other land-based weapons that they could
Appreciate you,
fire.
Naomi.
So
be safe.
With all of that capability, I would have to believe over the past month or so, the Pentagon, either through the deliberate National Security Council process or another process, has presented President Trump with a whole menu of options. And as you indicated, some of those options could be more on the lighter side, so not a full-blown campaign that lasts for days or weeks and tries to hit a break.
Yeah, you could do quick strikes or something like that. We know that. All right, so let's go ahead and go up here and see what the Department of State says here. I want to go ahead and...
So much as always for being here with us. We definitely appreciate it.
What's up, TVT? Good
Thanks,
morning.
Josh.
And I want to take you out to this post here from the State Department. They posted a clip from President Trump's State of the Union. Of course, we played for you some of the comments a bit earlier, but it says, President Trump on Iran. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy, but one thing is certain. I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror to have a nuclear weapon. We have to be strong. It's called peace through strength.
Yes, but didn't we supposedly obliterate their shit? Didn't we set them back for quote-unquote years? Well, now it looks like we only set them back for, I don't know, a few months. Anyways, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for being here. I'm very honored to be able to do this Monday through Friday. Listen, we're not going to be rating anybody this morning, but I very much appreciate all of you guys. We'll be back tonight, actually, at 7:10 p.m. That's usually when he starts it up. 7:10 p.m. tonight, Central Standard Time. And we'll be back for the Diamond Effect. And then, of course, the World's Madness continues on tomorrow morning. So, listen, God bless everybody. We'll see you guys very soon. And be safe out there. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.